So these are things that have been said of me, not very often, but it does come up from time to time from people on the outside looking in. But just because you have a vision and you're trying to lead people towards a common vision, does that automatically make you a control freak? Not so fast. Hey, it's Dave Dolphin at practicalworshipblog.com, sharing ideas, tips, and practical advice for the everyday worship leader. And I want to share with you a clip from an hour-long live YouTube video that I did a couple of months ago where I addressed what I would call some elephants in the room. That if you've watched any number of my videos, you might have noticed all this structure that's in place. So that's one. But also, you might have looked at this and at some point thought to yourself, he kind of seems like a control freak. As you lead anything, whether it's a business or an organization or a ministry, towards a common goal, you're going to begin to inadvertently value certain things over other things, certain good things over other good things. And that might mean that you have to tell people no on occasion or say yes, but we're going to do it in a certain way and dictate how that gets done. And my argument in this clip is that that's not necessarily unreasonable, even in a ministry that by its very definition is considered creative. But at the end of the clip, I'm going to flip the coin and talk about the importance of constantly getting feedback from your team, both solicited and unsolicited. That ministry is this balance between leading your troops and rallying them around a common goal, but also providing as many opportunities as possible for people to speak into and influence that goal. So here's that clip. There was a video that I produced about a month or so ago about the electric guitar position at our church. In the video, we talked about this is how our electric guitar position is set up. And we've got several of those, where, here's our drums, here's how our keyboards are set up, here's how our guitars are set up, all those kinds of things. The thing that's unique about our church is that all the backline is provided by the church, and our players play our backline. Now, that's pretty common for drummers. Keyboard players a lot of times will come in and play a keyboard that's not theirs, it's the church owns. That's, that can happen quite a bit. Certainly if it's a grand piano, you're not lugging your own grand piano around. But when it comes to electric guitar, that generally is not a position where the backline is being provided or someone's telling you gotta play this stuff. Well, I knew this would happen. When I produced the video, I said, this is going to show up in a Facebook group somewhere, and people are going to tear this apart. Well, it took like 2 weeks. And it found its way into this Facebook group that is all around the pursuit of great tone. I mean, these people talk about, what amps should I use? Which reverb pedal should I use? Should I use a Gretsch? Should I use a PRS? Should I use a Strat? Should I use a Tele? It's all centered around this pursuit of good tone. And you put a video like mine in there where it says, hey, I'm going to tell you what, that you got to play our pedalboard and our amp. 323 comments later, man, they took me to task. Now, to be fair, there's actually a good amount of people in the comments that said, I get it, I understand it, I applaud you for doing that. There was actually a really good amount of people that said, I totally disagree, but here's why, and they're very respectful and very kind. And I learned a lot from those people. There's some good things that I picked up from all of that. But there were some people that I just had to turn notifications off. It just, it was bad. In worship leader circles, it seems like, we talk about music stands and capos. We can add guitar rigs to the list of things that are sensitive subjects. Here's what I want to say though, is I have a vision as a leader of, I know what I want. I know where I feel God's leading us to go. And I think that with whatever it is, if it's business, if it's an organization, if it's the senior pastor of your church, or you as a worship leader, there needs to be that person where the buck stops. It stops here. I bet you if I spent an hour with your senior pastor, I could tell you what your church is like. If he's got a passion for evangelism, I bet you evangelism runs and permeates all throughout the ministries. If he is huge on missions, then I bet you down to the student ministry, to the worship ministry, to kids ministry, there's going to be you're going to feel that effect and everything. And if discipleship is huge, like a great example of that is Watermark Community Church in Dallas. They are huge on discipleship. And even if you talk to their worship pastor John, I had a chance to ask him. I said, what's running through your mind when you're leading your ministry? He said it's discipleship, which makes sense, because if you look at their senior pastor, that's very much how he's bent and how he's wired. And so it makes sense that it's going to lead that way. And so, your senior pastor has opinions about a lot of things. They might be on a general scale, but he's got opinions about how kids ministry should run and how student ministry should run. Should it be more outreach or should it be more discipleship? And he's probably not telling you all the songs that you need to do for every single Sunday, but I guarantee you, he's got opinions on genres. Life Church is going to look a whole lot different than John MacArthur's church. It just is. And you are probably in the position that you are in because you're kind of like-minded. If your style is Hillsong Young and Free and Jesus culture and all that, you're probably not going to be at MacArthur's church. You're just probably not. And if you try to lean things that way, you're going to get a tap on the shoulder. And you're going to have a closed-door meeting on that kind of a deal. So it's okay to have a leader that has a direction and a vision of where things need to go. And so if you drill down into the worship ministry, it's okay to have someone that is that's in charge. Like I think about how we're crafting a service. Everything from guitar tone to drum sounds to how the lights come up and down and audio mixes. There's a common vision that I'm trying to shoot for, and so I need to be able to kind of bring all these people in and utilize their expertise and their experiences and things like that to make kind of a common deal. All of that to say, I'm gonna do the other side of the coin of that now, is that if you're in any kind of a leadership and you are not constantly looking for feedback, either actively soliciting feedback from people or creating an atmosphere where it's safe to provide unsolicited feedback, if you are not doing that, you are going to fail. You need to create on-ramps. You have to create opportunities for other people to speak into things by either asking their input and saying, hey, what do you think about this? Or to provide a safe atmosphere where if someone feels like something needs to be different, that they can do that. I plan sets with my team, with several people. That's actually what this is right here. This is my dry erase board, and this is how we plan sets. We generally plan sets, 4 weeks at a time, but it's not just me. There are a couple other members of the team that do it, and I made that switch about a year or so ago, where instead of just be me, I brought in some other people. The sets got so much better. Not like a little better, like a lot better. They got, just because they would have ideas that I wouldn't necessarily have, or they would see pitfalls and problems prior to, before I would, and before we hit in the stage, and so we could fix problems or, train wrecks before it actually made it to the stage. Some examples of unsolicited feedback would be, I was talking with our guy that runs sound, and we're talking about the music we play pre and post, and we were using a collection of K-Love type songs, CCM type songs. And one day I noticed, one particular weekend, he started using different music. He found an old playlist on the iPod that's a little more similar to what you might find walking into Fellowship Church in Dallas or Church on the Move in Tulsa. It's a little bit more electronic and kind of beat heavy EDM, kind of a chill EDM kind of a thing. And we'd used that before, and I'd gotten some complaints. And so that's why we made the switch. And I was like, so I had the conversation about maybe we should switch this. He said, "Are you firm on that?" Well, he doesn't normally talk like that, and and he usually chooses his words pretty carefully. So I was like, "No, I'm not firm on that. Tell me why. Like, you seem really strong on this. Why is that?" And so he said, "Well, for one, it's hard to get it to sit in the room. That these songs have singing in them, and then also." And I recognize this completely. The song would be fading out. The song would be ending, and we'd have like 10 seconds before the service is going to start. And so here's this song coming down, and all of a sudden it's kind of quiet. But the next song hasn't started yet, and but the band's getting ready to start, and it's like there's this weird, awkward pause for like 7 to 10 seconds, and that happened a lot for some reason.
Whereas the music that he had chosen, that was more the beat driven, it's like the beat continues on and like song goes into the song and goes into song. And it was real bass heavy. But it had a nice little space in the middle where someone would speak, and so you could still keep it kind of low in the room. It would put energy in the room, like something exciting is going to happen, but people could still talk. And I was like, you know what? Let's try it a couple of weekends. I'm still a little hesitant, but let's try it. We're not going to hurt anything by trying it. And worst case scenario, the people that complained earlier would complain again. You know what? We're still using that music. He was right. And so, yes, be a control freak. Yes, have a clear vision. It is okay to do that. I think that's part of leadership. But you do have to realize you're not the smartest person in the room.